Okay.
Your Holiness, you talked about preventive medicine,
Oh,
and
yes,
I think a number of our youth leaders have dedicated themselves to
That's
that.
right. No.
So I'd like to ask Shadnan to...
In the name of Allah, who is most gracious and most merciful, I'm Shabnam from Afghanistan, and I'm living in a region, in the southern region of Afghanistan, which is really influenced by the very wrong traditions, the traditions that are totally against education for women. My story starts from my center where I learn English. I finished my English class and I was so tired and bored. I was on my way to canteen and that I faced a very beautiful small girl who was just from 10 or 11 years old. She stopped me and asked me that, can you lend me some 10 Afghanis? I want to buy a notebook for myself in order to write my lessons in it. And I told her that let's go, I will buy you a notebook. And finally we reached the canteen and I bought the notebook and gave it to her. This notebook, the joy of notebook really made her smile. And her eyes were sparkling from the joy of a notebook. And her smile, her happiness really healed all my tiredness. I really got refreshed. I got energetic. And from that day, I planned with myself. I made a plan to that every month I should keep an amount of my salary in order to provide school materials and school stationery for girls, for poor girls in Afghanistan. And if I get able, I will do this for the world too. Now, my question that I have from you, respected, is that how can we make the tradition leaders, how can we support, how can we request them to help women education, how to support education for women? Thank you.
Now, some of the traditions even very backward, very narrow-minded thinking, not easy to change through generations. So gradual method, I think now the Afghanistan, for example, the development of Afghanistan, the education, modern education, very important. So gradually, the people realize that. Then also, I think effort, equality, female, male. Then, as I already mentioned, you see, female actually should take more active role regarding promotion of human love, human affection. So nowadays, take time. If you really believe God, Allah, then pray to Allah. So no harm. Like that. So these I take time. Not easy. Certain sort of traditional way of life, way of thinking. Several generations. So take time. But there is always possibility, the change of backward thinking. So you should not discourage yourself. And your effort, I really appreciate. Very good. So, as I already mentioned, these individual, wonderful. The one individual, you see, try to bring more people. And then gradually some kind of NGO, some kind of group of people. And that effect come more. with one individual carry some effort. But firstly, one individual like you, then share at least your area, share your ideas, your practice, your experience, share with more people. Then eventually some kind of NGO create like that. And then I think religious leader also very, very, very important. So I think some more, because of the open-minded, some leader, religious leader, you see, try to talk. And in the village, there's some religious leader speak something, perhaps more effective. Isn't it? Like that. So you should create one class to religious leader. Yes. Now, tea.
Now tea?
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you for the tea. So we've changed our youth leaders, so we have a different group in the front now, you'll notice. But everybody here has really struggled with conflict in their own communities, finding their purpose, and I think also finding the ability to maintain the inner peace that you spoke about, especially as their countries go through important changes. But I'd like to start this segment by asking Rasha from Tunisia, if you're ready, Rasha. Yeah.
I'm so humbled to be in your presence today, and to know that you will listen to my story and finally have someone to listen to me. So
I want to make clear. I always consider myself as one of 7 billion human beings. Nothing special. Nothing special. Of course, I have some sort of opportunity to gain experience and to learn a certain sort of knowledge about our mind, about our emotion, these things. Otherwise, we are same human being. So, let's say, whenever I give talk, I always telling we all mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. So you should not, use the word humbleness. Marbe, ngendulia, kaza marbe.
So I was born to a very conservative family. I'm half Syrian, half Tunisian, and I was born and raised in Dubai. And I had a twin brother who had all the rights to do everything and to go play with his friends and to go to school and to do everything. And a lot of stuff I was not allowed to do because I was the female. So I was oppressed. And I grew older feeling very angry towards this type of slavery, because to me it was kind of slavery. And then at the age of 18, I moved back to Tunisia, to my home country, Tunisia. And I wanted to study at university, but because I only spoke Arabic and English, I couldn't study in Tunisian universities because they're in French. So I started looking for universities abroad, and I found a scholarship in England, but I needed to pay money. I needed more money. So I tried to find a job, and the only job for an 18-year-old girl was to work as a babysitter. So I put my CV online, and I started receiving a lot of emails from families interested in hiring me to work as their babysitter. However, none of these families wanted to talk to me on Skype. I couldn't see any of them. They all had the same language: just send us your passport and we will take care of the paper. So I felt something was not okay. I had a gut feeling that it's weird, So I did some research, and I realized that a lot of girls are actually trafficked through false job promises. So I was going to be a victim of human trafficking. I was going to end up trafficked into prostitution somewhere in Europe. Years later, I forgot about that.
Oh.
So years later, I forgot about that. And then when I did my master's, I went to Italy for some research, and I met a Nigerian victim. She was a survivor after being victimized for 10 years into prostitution. And it hit me. I realized that, I could have been that woman. So that day, I realized that I really want to fight against human trafficking, and it became my life passion and my life mission. So I established the first anti-human trafficking organization in Tunisia, and I do that as my life mission. So my question to you is, as a young girl, just as Alwal said earlier, I'm 28 years old, and in Tunisia, if you want to talk to traditional leaders, they don't really listen. They don't consider me as important or as, knowledgeable enough to talk to. So how can I make people listen to me, and how can I make them believe in the cause that I'm fighting for? Thank you.
That's difficult. Because Miji Nyayar is why. Tidaraba, Chazanta Chubudi Merangi Tik Bazushitadi. Chazanyaya. We already sort of discussed about that. You see, not easy. But general public education, that I feel important. And then education itself, existing education system, I feel not adequate. So gradually, education, more holistic education. Holistic means education about material value, education about inner value. So take time. So under present sort of circumstances, I think because of the materialistic education, materialistic sort of oriented way, education, so that create materialistic life, materialistic culture. So people who come from that kind of sort of life or cultural heritage, difficult. But as I mentioned earlier, there is real possibility to change that. With the help of, I think, the Kasuta, I think including scientists. And then I think more and more people now begin to realize the existing education is not adequate. More and more people whom I met, more and more people, now they agree. So take time. Now the first, I think, to start some new sort of system of education. Maybe this country more suitable, more possibility, as I already mentioned. Then India, most populated nation, democratic nation. I mean, most populated democratic nation. Population-wise, China is the most populated nation. So I really feel some change in education system in this country. Then, since India, as I mentioned earlier, democratic, quite stable, and now economically also, you see, grow quite well. I think one occasion, I think Hu Jintao, a former president of China, wanted to visit here. And some sort of media asked me, what is your message? And I mentioned, I hope Hu Jintao can learn India's situation. India, East India, South India, West India, North India, Central India, different language. So with that, some little differences of different culture, but all remain one union, happily, with freedom, equality. So China, Also, you see, over billion human population and a different group of people who have different language or different culture. So give them equal right and freedom, then we can live harmoniously. So take time. Change overnight, impossible. And particularly in those areas, a little bit sort of orthodox thinking, strong. Take time, take time. Even if the same Muslim believer, I notice Muslim in this country, very open-minded, comparatively. And also I notice a Muslim in Malaysia, because there are a large number of Chinese there, most of them Buddhist, and there are a large number of Indian Hindus. So Muslim in Malaysia also is more open-minded. Now Indonesia also now, because in the past history, Buddhism, and in like Java area, traditionally Buddhist area, like that. So because you see some from childhood, Muslim children from young age, they already know there are different religious faith. Whereas in Arab, isolated, you see, no sort of contact with different religious faith, then sometimes it's a little difficult. So these, I think, including tourism, and also, you see, scholarship from these area. And then, gradually, I think, will change. In this respect, I feel Indian Muslim should carry some sort of effort to reduce fear among the Buddhist brothers, sisters, and some Muslim brothers, sisters, historically remain isolated. So some kind of fear the Western civilization, Western democracy, civilization, threatening to their faith. And particularly the September 11th sort of event happened, they're very negative. So, take time, but more contact. I think like our meeting, although very small, but each of you have this sort of opportunity, share with more people in your own country. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we should have this kind of meeting more regularly. So these are the method. Otherwise, it's difficult.
And you'll, oh.
Your Holiness and friends, kindly excuse me my bad English. His Holiness just desired me to, if I wish to speak, I should speak. So I am hearing this morning the presentations of our friends, and mostly I find that the difficult of making our effort effective to oppose the injustice or the wrongdoing. So my first suggestion is, according to Buddha's teaching and also according to the practice of Gandhi, we have to differentiate the action and the actor. And the actor is to be loved, and the action is to be opposed. So our difficulty is whenever we oppose an action or wrongdoing or injustice, we just oppose that actor as well. And that makes it is a kind of revenge, and ourselves become on the sin level of the wrongdoer. If some person is doing injustice or violence, if we react with the same violence, then it will be perpetuation of the wrongdoing, nothing new. So we have to love the actor and educate the actor what he or she is doing is not correct. And similarly, there are some problems which are coming from so-called tradition. And I respect all the religious traditions, and no religious tradition can teach something injustice or discrimination among the human beings. So therefore, we shall have to redefine the tradition. According to the Kumaraswamy, all the systems or customs which are perpetuated for a long time does not make in a tradition. The tradition must be three components. The first is the tradition is originated from the divine sources, and it's coming down unbroken lineage, and it is verifiable by common sense and logic. So therefore, if any religious teaching says the women should not have education or something like that, similar things, misinterpretation can also occur in the Buddhist tradition as well, Buddhist system as well. But these things are not coming from the divine source, and it is a later addition coming into the religious systems. So we have to study the basic source of the religion, and through the scholars and religious leaders, through a in-depth research, and this kind of discrimination or injustice is really the part of teaching of the religion, or it is a later addition through society or something like that. And then finally, if we are able to differentiate the actor and the action, and we really have a genuine love to the actor, then our opposition to the wrongdoing must be much more effective, which has been demonstrated by Gandhi. And we can see not only Gandhi, but many this kind of who are doing satyagrahas. So the love to the actor is the key factor, which is very difficult to curate. And if we are able to do that, I think all our work will bring some effect. Thank you.
Actually, I think the proper way to test your sort of compassion is genuine compassion or not. You see, you should examine your feeling towards enemy, troublemaker. See, if you equally feel genuine sense of concern of your enemy, in spite of their attitude, that is unbiased, compassion or love. Really oriented, really oriented about being itself. But usually our love, compassion towards one's own family member or like that, there's more attachment, not a genuine love. Genuine love, you see, regardless their attitude, but still they are human brothers, sisters. Keep our love, compassion. That's the genuine one. So enemy, some Buddhist literature mentioned enemy is your effective teacher or practice of tolerance and practice of love, like that. Then one Professor Samdurji, you see, took some quotation of Mahatma Gandhiji. Now I want to take Buddha's quotation. So one, I think the unique thing, Buddha, he told to his follower, or monks, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. So accordingly, some of the Nalanda master, they rejected some of Buddha's own teaching. If you accept this teaching, it goes against the reason. So we should reject. That's quite unique, isn't it? But meantime, I never state Buddhism is best. I never state. So, the best or good or bad, according to the person. One individual, Buddhist teaching more effective, then to that person, Buddhism is best. To someone who believe, who find much benefit, much effective to their practice or to their behavior or sense of God, Creator, then for that person, the theistic religion is best. Like food, we cannot say, this food is best. We cannot say. According to the individual, some people are fond. Some cause of the hot meal, spicy. Then let them enjoy that. And some people feel without too much spice. So for that person, another food is better. Like medicine, also we cannot say this medicine is best. According patient, for this illness, a patient also, due to yesterday's condition, this medicine is best. Now today's condition, some change. Therefore, this medicine is best. Like that. You cannot, similarly, religion, we cannot say one religion is best. Cannot say.